Okay, go ahead and start recording in 3, 2, 1, record.
You know this is just gonna keep happening, right?
No, just let the silence happen. The silence happen. We'll just one of these days I'll say 3, 2, 1, record, and then it will be 2 hours of us very softly breathing, and that will be the whole episode.
And there'll be like a fart, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we need the fart in there to bring in the Rick and Morty fans because
it's like you know what's the famous John Cage piece, 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
Yeah, that's on iTunes that you can actually buy. That's completely silent.
Yeah.
You know, but you know we could spice it up because you know we gotta be hip and cool. You know, we also gotta seem intelligent, so we could just put in a fart once in a while, so that way we get the Rick and Morty fans.
Yeah, because that's indicative of a reference to Rick and Morty specifically.
Yes, it is. You know, because you know it not being that the Rick and Morty fans who fucking just like rampaged on McDonald's. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking talk about this. It's okay. I really like Rick and Morty. I think it's a fun show. I really enjoy it. But the problem I have with the fan base is that I think they're taking the wrong message from Rick and Morty, along with they're only like skimming the top, and they're assuming that you know they're kind of taking the whole you know we are so smart for you know being into this show and stuff, but they're only skimming the top, I think, because really the thing I dislike about it, the fandom, is that they idolize Rick. And I thought it was very obvious, and I'm actually kind of surprised that I was wrong about this, because I thought everybody else felt the same way, was that Rick was a lot like BoJack Horseman. And you know, you've watched BoJack Horseman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know that, like, BoJack Horseman is not a person to idolize and stuff. He's a cautionary tale. You know, he's like, you look at him and you're like, I don't want to be that guy. That he is fucking miserable. Yeah, he's doing all this, you know, he's got all this, you know, wealth and popularity, but he's a fucking wreck. He is a disaster. And I think it's the same with Rick. Rick is such a fucking train wreck. And I think people are either willfully or, you know, and they're only looking at the surface detail of like, oh, here's this, you know, wacky grandpa. He's a fucking alcoholic. He's a wacky grandpa. He's going on all these adventures. And he's taking his grandkid with him. And it's like, no, he's a fucking drug addict. He has absolutely no social skills. He's a complete fucking train wreck. He's another cautionary tale. Yet people choose to idolize him and kind of not read into it, I say. And oh, that's sort of why that's my specific reason for not like wanting to why I like the show, but why I choose to like avoid that fandom in particular is because they are taking the wrong message from the show.
Yeah, but isn't that just always how it is? Like, always. Do not forget what, like, television show or game or whatever. Don't always fans just take the wrong message from a show, like, every single fucking time?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. And, you know, okay, and to flip this around, because, you know, as you know, because we're recording this on the 15th, so like the Friday before this last Friday, you know, McDonald's decided they were gonna cash in on the Szechuan sauce hype, and they put it out for one day, and they didn't have enough, and all this fucking shit went down, and basically Rick and Morty fans like swamped McDonald's and got really pissed, really angry and in the McDonald's and stuff, and made themselves look like asses. And where was I going with that? Oh god, I completely had a brain fart right there. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm obviously not a true Rick and Morty fan. But right. So, it blew up, and got a lot of people, including myself, poking fun at them, because of how they acted. They acted like stupid fans, like a lot of people do, and many fandoms, and I'm including fandoms I've been a part in. But you're seeing people sort of looking at the Rick and Morty fans and going, "Oh ho ho, look at these fucking idiots, look at these pieces of shit." And they're the same kind of people. They're the people who are in like the Voltron fandom, or the Steven Universe fandom, or even in the or in the Ruby fandom, and you're like, wait a minute. Then one of you guys like go and give cookies laced with razor blades to an artist because she drew a ship you didn't like, and when the news came out, you basically said, well, maybe she shouldn't have drawn that ship if she didn't want to get poisoned. Didn't you try to get another artist to commit suicide because they drew a character not fat enough for your liking? And it's like, glass fucking houses, man. Glass fucking houses. Yeah, these guys, kind of made the McDonald's employees miserable because they went in and acted like a bunch of fucking assholes, because they didn't get their fucking meme sauce. But as far as I know, I haven't seen them, trying to poison or fucking send, trying to poison or trying to get, people to commit suicide because those said people do shit that they don't like. It's like, maybe you should like back the fuck up and just shut the fuck up, because you have no right to chastise anybody else or any other fandom for acting like a bunch of it.
No ground to stand on. Yeah.
You have no, and then you got, and then oh god, okay, so this is probably gonna sound fucking stupid, and it might be like, oh, Brony Defense Force. You got a lot of people being like, oh, the Rick and Morty fandom might actually be worse than the Brony fandom. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Okay, Bronies did a lot of dumb shit. Bronies did a lot of stupid shit. But they're hardly, when you look at the Voltron fandom, when you look at the Ruby fandom, when you look at Steven Universe, when you look at what people in those fandoms did, and you compare it to like both the Brony and the Rick and Morty fandom, the Rick and Morty and Brony fandom come out pretty fucking clean. There was stupid shit, and there were some people who made death threats to I think it was the whole
Everyone. Everyone.
But as far as the razor blade cookies, as far as like campaigns to get artists to commit suicide, like campaigns of harassment, unless I'm wrong, unless I'm totally overlooking something, I don't remember ever seeing something like that happening, in the Brony fandom. And as far as I'm aware, I haven't heard of anything happening like that in the Rick and Morty fandom, unless you know something I don't, but I think I'm correct. it's just a bit. I wish I had a script so that way I'm not like with all these dumb pauses and oohs and ums and shit. I just need a script for life or something. But yeah, it's like, yes, these Rick and Morty fans, this Rick and Morty fandom, they're being really dumb right now. But you know that's what's gonna happen because it's fandom. Fandoms are kind of shit like that. And you guys and these other fandoms just need to back the fuck off and probably and really just shut the fuck up because you're throwing stones in glass houses and it's really just fucking dumb, and please just fucking stop. So I don't know. I talked myself out on that topic. Do you have anything to say about it or not?
No, I have nothing to say about that. But in terms of recent events, I do have this to say. My fucking state is on fire.
Oh, right. I remember I was talking to you a couple days ago, and you were like, "Oh shit, we may have to evacuate."
Yeah, we've been exchanging texts back and forth about the state of California fires. The current big run of fires in Napa Valley, Santa Rosa area is about 50 to 60 miles north of me, so I'm not really in any danger of getting fires. But man, this past week the wind was blowing in just the perfect direction and force to blow ungodly amounts of smoke from those fires down to us, to the point where we were wearing masks at work now.
Yeah, it was blowing all the way into, because I was in the San Joaquin Valley in Central California, and it was blowing in like really fucking thick there. Yeah,
and it was giving me headaches, and I was just like, I was going to bed closing all the windows and everything in my house. I was spending a lot of time in my car. It was just really bad. But
yeah.
Enough about that. We'll have updates on that if it becomes interesting later. For now, I say we get into our main topic here. We've been apart for a while. We haven't recorded in a few weeks. Both of us have been really busy. But what we have also been doing is participating and partaking in the forms of entertainment that we really like. So we're just doing a retrospective on some media we've recently finished. And hopefully it's topical and not old ass shit.
Well, I have two things that I'm going to talk about. One of them is more of a rant, and one is just sort of talking about my experience with a thing that I haven't completed anything. I'm just talking about the experience.
Well, I've completed.
I'm like a game reviewer. I don't complete anything. I just talk about the experience. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I've completed both things, so like a true real game reviewer, I'll be talking about a video game after I've completely finished it 100%. So I guess I'll start off. I only have two things here that I recently finished, but both of them I think are going to end up being things I'm going to be referencing and talking about throughout the rest of this year. And one of them, the video game, of course, is a huge contender for Game of the Year for me. So we'll see about that. But yeah, the first thing is Persona 5. I have finally finished Persona 5. It took me approximately 105 hours of game time. And, 6 months in real lifetime to finish.
So you're like a working class adult.
Yeah. Man. Everything I said about the game in the first episode that I talked about it, where I talked about all the praise I had for the game, all of that holds up all the way to the end of the game. The style, the battle system, the music, everything. I also want to talk about how, eerily relevant that game is for its American audience this particular year. Because a lot of what the game criticizes in society are things that are currently being criticized in modern society here, economically and politically in the United States. I mean, at face value, Persona 5 seems a lot like maybe a game where you are fighting some kind of analog for Donald Trump. You can say that. That's fine. Not necessarily untrue, but I will say this. The game ends with you summoning Satan and blowing God's brains out. So we'll put it with that. That actually happens. That's the actual end of the game. You do that.
That sounds a lot like Bayonetta.
The game definitely pulls a lot more from the Shin Megami Tensei series than Persona games have before. There's a lot less, like, Persona games had always been these very intimate stories about small towns or small groups of people. This one, has a lot of the trappings of Persona, but there's a lot more theming about like struggle between order and chaos, and things like that, more grand philosophical questions. But it is still contained in that small group of people, story about a small group of people.
Okay.
You can date your teacher, so that's cool. That's a romance path you can definitely take.
Okay.
That is, you can do that. She's a really good character, actually. I was really pleased with her character. They wrote her very well. I haven't seen her romance path. I don't know what happens in it, but I assume it's cute, whatever it is. And I assume it's also laced with, oh God, why are we doing this? Isn't this illegal? Because it is.
I'm actually kind of surprised they would put that. I'm kind of surprised they would put that in the game, especially here.
I mean, they've
here.
done that in Persona before in Japan, but not with a release in America. For example, in Persona 3 Portable, you could play the campaign as a girl, and there was an option to date the character Ken Amada, who is, I think, 12 or 13 or something like that. Yeah, that whole thing was ripped out of the American version, like, right quick. In Persona 5, however, you have a teacher who's, like, in some ambiguous, probably early 30s kind of age, and you play as a character who is, 16, 17... And
it's not the fucking incel. The first one, is it? That you know what I'm talking about with incel. That first guy who was sexually harassing.
No. You
okay,
no.
Good.
It's
good.
your homeroom. Oh my God, that'd be hilarious though.
Yeah, you get to fucking date the arrogant incel fuck.
No,
with the crown.
it's not Bad Touch Sensei. He goes to jail.
Okay, good.
No, it's your homeroom teacher, Kawakami. I'll send you a picture of her. Let me see, while I'm talking about that.
Yeah.
I actually chose the even creepier romance where you date your basically little sister, your adopted little sister.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Futaba. That was great. I was like, what is the best pairing that I can do for this? You know what? It's gonna be with the best girl, who is also kind of like your little sister, I guess. That's a great idea.
Oh, you're talking... Yeah, this is the girl that everybody loves because she's like a fucking need or something.
She's a really good character. She is a very well-written, good example of... I don't want to say an autistic character, but a character who might fall on the autism spectrum. We'll put it that way.
Persona is Necronomicon.
Yep.
Huh. She
is very cool. She's actually one of the most important characters in the game, like story-wise, because a lot of what the Phantom Thieves are able to accomplish, they're able to accomplish because, she's competent with a computer.
What the fuck? The Necronomicon is a fucking stereotypical flying saucer. What the fuck?
It's a UFO.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, Lovecraft technically did talk a lot about space aliens, so I guess that makes sense. Okay. So you went with Futaba.
Yeah,
all right.
I went with Futaba. I did not regret a single thing. Her character is absolutely hilarious. And the only thing is, like, yeah, she's like, what, 15? That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's a weird thing. But here, I'll send you a picture of Kawakami. So, her name is Sadayo Kawakami.
Sadayo Kamakame. Kameya. Oh yeah, I've seen her around.
Yeah, I know you've seen her around because there's a period of time where I reblogged approximately 7 straight days of 10 posts a day of Kawakami. Just pictures of this character. Because I was like, oh, this character's kind of... You know how I am whenever I see something I'm marginally interested in, I will immediately queue up approximately 7 years of it from my Tumblr blog. And just for the next decade, that's all you see every day. Yeah, it doesn't even matter if it's something I'm actually obsessed with. I can just have a passing interest in it, and I'll be like, oh. And then I'll just go down the tag on Tumblr and be like, oh, these are cool. Let's just queue all of these.
Yeah, and then when I send you a text complaining about it, you're like, oh, I was into that like 2 months ago. And I'm like, oh, it's because fucking wonderful.
My queue is always like at 300. So whatever you might see me currently being obsessed with, I was most likely obsessed with weeks prior.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Persona 5, great. It was great. It was great through and through. It had a fantastic ending. It had probably the most out of all the Persona games, the most well wrapped up ending, period. Like, there was nothing left open. There was nothing to really be disappointed about. You know, there was everything just wrapped up really well.
That's good to hear. Good to hear.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, I guess I'll get into my thing. I've been playing, have been playing a little bit of Forza 7. Forza Motorsport 7. And let me tell you, unlike last year when Forza Horizon 3 was announced and it was announced that it was going to come out on PC, I was like, thank God, fucking finally. It's nice to have that kind of racing simulator, not the super hardcore one, but a good racing simulator with a shit ton of cars and a good career mode and kind of finally have that kind of that scale of game, on the PC. Fucking awesome. And it was Forza Horizon, and I ended up purchasing the Ultimate Edition, which is just gives you the car pass and the VIP pass, and it was great. And this year they announced Forza Motorsport 7, which is even better because Forza Motorsport 7 is sort of the mainline series. Horizon is sort of the more fun, playful, spin-off, which honestly I would say I do have more fun in Horizon, but if you're more into just the racing aspect, then you just go with the mainline series. So yeah, Forza Motorsport 7 was announced, and however, there were some rumors of some possible shittery going on. There was a possibility that the VIP status was going to be really nerfed compared to the previous games. The biggest reason people like to get the VIP package is because it unlocks a bunch of cars, but it also gives you double XP. And that's something that hardcore fans really want because the more XP you get, the XP doesn't necessarily roll back into you getting, it's not like an RPG where your actions, what you can do expands and you get more abilities. Really what it does is it allows you to compete in more races, especially online, but also gives you more, you can get the higher the level you get, the more cash you get in winnings, and also the more access you have to certain very rare cars. It's easy. Those cars aren't taken away from you, but it's a lot easier to get them the higher level you are. And so for Motorsport 7, for Forza 7, we start hearing rumors of some possible bullshit going on that they like one of the things that was rumored was that there's going to be a licensing system like what Gran Turismo has, and what that is, that's a thing that's really unique to Gran Turismo, because Gran Turismo sort of plays it very. Gran Turismo is a Japanese game, and it plays. It pretends to be very Japanese. It's like, oh, and this is the way Gran Turismo's been since the first game, where you can't just go and race. Like, if you're playing the simulation mode, you can't just go and race. You have to go get a license, and you have to learn how to drive. And while that adds to like the realism and stuff, it's very tedious. It is very tedious, to have to go take driving tests and retake because you were a little bit too crazy on that turn, and we can't let you pass because you kind of didn't do the turn we want the way you wanted to. So it turned out it was none of that shit. None of that shit. Basically, when Forza 7 came out, and people found out that VIP mode didn't mean shit. There was nothing in it. There was no reason to get the VIP mode. And I am fucking happy that I did not, because I decided, with all these rumors, that I was just going to purchase the standard edition. I wasn't going to go all out with the ultimate edition, because I was like, this might be, because this might be some kind of fucked here. And it's like, yeah, they took out the double XP. They took out the one reason people bought the VIP pass. And not only that, they brought loot crates or loot boxes, which as of right now, you can't spend real money on them. Not yet, because they haven't introduced a token system yet. Because this is also a thing in previous games where, or at least I think it was in 6 and it was in Horizon 3, where you could purchase tokens, and you could purchase tokens with real cash, and you can spend tokens to either buy cars. So instead of like racing races and buying cars from your winnings, you could just buy cars with tokens. Or especially in Horizon, you can buy treasure mats, which would help you find like barnyard cars and stuff like that. Super rare cars that will tell you exactly where the cars are, so you don't have to spend like an hour searching for a random a procedurally generated barn in the middle of a fucking field somewhere in Australia. You gave you a treasure map, you could find the car right away. And so far, they haven't introduced tokens yet into Forza 7, but it's going to come in an update. And so right now, you can only purchase loot boxes with in-game currency, with currency you've earned, and the reason people are getting really angry about that is because another thing in Forza 7 games where, along with your winnings, you got what were called mods. And are you back in bullshit?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so you play Titanfall, right?
Yeah.
You know about the burner cards, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That's what they are. Forza had them first, and I think their mods are basically just burner cards. And the way you earned them in previous games was you won them in races. Like, so you win a race and you randomly get a pack of mod cards. And they did things like give you additional challenges. Like, let's say you could use a mod card on a race, and as long as you didn't touch anyone throughout the race, you got like an extra 50,000 credits in your winnings. So if you had the mod enabled, as long as you didn't touch anyone, you didn't hit anyone, you could earn a bunch of extra money, or you could use them to switch it to night mode, and in night mode it's a lot harder to drive. So you could earn more money by racing at night if it's normally a daytime race, or you get cards that would slightly enhance, like you could for one race have better braking or better acceleration, yada yada yada, shit like that. And so in Forza 7, they took that away from us. The only way you could get mod cards now are within these loot boxes. So they're essentially implying that here real soon we're gonna have to spend real money to buy these mod cards. And and they're also like locking away certain cards certain cars in these loot boxes as well, but not like the basic loot box. You have to. The only way you can win cars are in the really expensive loot boxes, the ones that cost like 250, 300,000 credits or however many tokens they're going to be. And yeah, people are really kind of fucking pissed off about that. And people were so pissed off about it that Microsoft and Turn 10 Studios, the company behind Forza, they've come out and said, we've heard you, and in the next update, we're going to give VIP status is going to have double XP again, and we're going to do some changes to the loot boxes. So, yeah, so hopefully soon in an update, they'll pull back on all this bullshit. And until that happens, I'm going to say if you really want to play Forza 7, just if you can hold off, or just get the standard edition. Because right now there's no point in getting the Ultimate Edition. So, yeah. So that was my little ranty complaint about Forza 7 is just loot box bullshit, which seems to be a big thing right now. We've got Forza 7, the new Shadow over Mordor game, or whatever the fuck it's called, has loot boxes as well. There's also implication that the new Assassin's Creed game might be locking certain endings behind loot boxes as well. So yeah, it's like loot boxes are kind of the newest form of bullshit we're having to deal with right now. So I don't know. It's pretty shit. Anyway.
All right, and if you let me just go back real quick, I wanted to finish up my thoughts before I was so fucking rudely interrupted by goddamn knocking on my door. Swear to fucking God, there's a sign. Like, come on.
There's a sign that says on there.
No, there's a sign that says fucking recording. In short, about Persona 5, buy it, get it, play it now, play it, period. It's the most relevant game to Americans this year that I can think of, which is odd because it's a Japanese game. It has excellent theming. Everything about it is very polished, finely tuned, and most importantly, it is thematically entirely about breaking the chains of fate and youth empowerment. In fact, the final message of the game is that while adults and the older generations run the world, it's the job of the youth to shoot God in the head whenever it strays from its righteous path.
So it's sort of like Shin Godzilla.
Yeah. So summon the Satan within you to blow God's brains out whenever you think the corrupt ass adults are doing shit they shouldn't.
And go follow the Church of Satanism on Twitter.
That too.
Yeah. Have you seen their Twitter account?
Yes, I have.
It's
it is
fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that Twitter account.
I'm gonna go into the next thing for me, and then you can move on to your last thing.
Yeah, since I already just sort of talked myself out about
for
the
Forza
7.
Yeah. So the other thing I recently finished and caught up to is going to be a blast from our collective past, and that is the latest season and film for My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. Yes, I do still keep up with that show. Right around season 5, I may or may not have completely stopped watching and said to myself, you know what, maybe if I let it just keep going, there'll be like a few episodes for me to watch all in one sitting. And I thought that exact thought for approximately 2 years. And I finally saw a trailer for the film shortly before the film came out. I was like, oh man, that looks pretty cool. I should probably catch up so I can watch the movie. And it turns out, well, they're on season 7 now. And strangely, the streaming site that I use, which is illegal, and I won't say the name of, to watch some of the cartoons that I watch, has all 26 episodes for season 7 up on it. But according to Wikipedia, the episodes, let me see here, in season 7, 24, 25, and 26, as of the time we're recording this, shouldn't be out yet. We're recording this on October 15th. I don't know when it'll go up, but according to Wikipedia here, the air date for episode 24 is October 21st, and episodes 25 and 26 are supposed to air on October 28th, but I've seen them, so I think they were leaked or something, so I'm not going to talk about those 3 because they're not out yet. But I did watch the rest of season 5, all of season 6, and basically all of season 7, and then I watched the movie. So I just want to talk a little bit about that. The show, I mean, it's the show. It's a cartoon, and we watched a lot of it, and I continue watching it, and it's fun, and that's it. That's all there is to say about that. It's a pretty cute show about a bunch of talking horses. The film actually impressed the hell out of me, and that's sort of what I really want to talk about. So the film is out in theaters. And I did buy a ticket for it at my local movie theater. And so we'll pretend that I went and I watched it in the movie theater and didn't give that ticket to my niece and then watch it online alone in my room on a legal streaming site, because that would be bad. I didn't do that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what the hell? Only a pedophile will do that.
Yeah. So yes, I have seen the film. That's sort of what I really want to talk about. It was great. First of all, the artist Sia. Everyone knows who that is, right? People are familiar with Sia. I feel like she's a pop artist. You know, she had that song Chandelier.
Sure, I'll pretend I'm aware of popular music.
Anyway, she's pretty popular, I guess.
I know Starboy.
She actually wrote a song. Quite a few musical artists, but Sia being the main sort of big event, did write a song specifically for the film called Rainbows. She actually posted the official music video for it on her YouTube Vivo channel, which you should all go and see. It's a very good music video. Like all of her big music videos, it stars Maddie Ziegler, who if you aren't familiar with Sia's music videos and the story behind how she got this little girl Maddie Ziegler to do interpretive dance for her and has kept her in all of her music videos, you should really go watch all of her music videos. They're all very, very good. They're really interesting music videos, and Ziegler is sort of the main character, I guess, for all of her music videos. Really good dancer, and has been really neat to watch her sort of grow up and go through all these different forms of dancing throughout all of Sia's different music videos. Anyway, she's in the latest one, as is tradition with Sia, I guess, as well as cuts from the MLP film. Interesting choice. Did not expect to see that really go up on Sia's official YouTube channel, but hey, whatever. That's okay. Great. The film is very impressively animated. They actually did the whole film in CG and then went back over it and reanimated over all the character models in 2D. I think using Flash. I can't remember. So the whole film is basically rotoscoped. It has a very rotoscoped kind of style. Very neat. The animation is very smooth. It's honestly, that was probably the best part of the movie, was just seeing how much money and time they'd spent on the animation for that film. It's a very fluid looking style, and I really hope that that if they decide to cap the show when the show ends with a film, they do the same thing again because it was really cool. All-star cast, star-studded cast. Liev Schreiber as the main villain. The Storm King. Emily Blunt as his sort of really scary evil assistant. Michael Pena as her sidekick. Kristen Chenoweth. I don't know if you know who that is. She's the original Glinda the Good Witch from the first run of the Wicked musical.
No idea.
Okay, that's okay. Kristen Chenoweth as
Sorry.
as the Princess of the Sea Ponies, and probably the best decision ever made. Period. Zoe Saldana as Captain Solano, the captain of the Parrot Pirates. Zoe Saldana, of course. I don't know if you know who that is. She was what's her face? The Green Lady from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, yeah.
Don't remember what her character was. That's Zoe Saldana. She plays a pirate captain, and actually, there's a song with them in the movie, and she actually went in and sang her part for it, which is pretty cool. Kristen Chenoweth, of course, being a Broadway star, also was in a song, and she sang for herself as well. And it was really neat because I didn't actually know that Zoe Saldana could sing. That was kind of interesting. I'll send you a clip of it afterwards. It's a really neat song. And of course, because she wrote a song for the film, Sia was also in the film playing a character, a pony that was modeled to look exactly like her. It was actually quite funny. Because Sia kind of looks like a old, less Art Nouveau Lady Gaga, and they managed to capture exactly what she looks like in pony form, which was very funny. I'll send you a picture of her. I can't remember her name. Her character's name was. Here's a good picture. She has this really neat hairstyle that's very I want to say not Neapolitan ice cream, but some vanilla chocolate ice cream, the split vanilla chocolate ice cream. I know there's a word for it. I can't remember what it's called. But that's a picture of her. It looks a lot like a sort of matured, calmed down Lady Gaga.
All right, cool.
And if you've never seen a picture of Sia, here is a picture of Sia in costume, and for those of you listening, it's the one with her black and white hairstyle and the Titanic bow, taken at an awards show.
Put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I know celebrities do this, so yeah. Good.
So it was really cool to see that they got a lot of big talent, which was kind of cool. Liev Schreiber as the villain was excellent. He was very much like they stylized him a lot like personality wise, a lot like Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2. Very much that kind of very much that kind of character.
Yeah. Kind of a snarky sort of piece of shit.
Yeah, just a really he's evil, but he's definitely got a nice light joking side that can serve to undermine how truly evil he is, but he's still fucking evil.
Yeah.
I think the part of the movie that I was taken most by, of course, because, and people will not be surprised at this, of course, was the music. For the first time in the history of the show, they were able to actually pay out for a full suite of live musicians. So the quality of music is jumped tenfold, just like the animation. And of course, being able to have all these, Kristen Chenoweth, who was on Broadway, Zoe Saldana, Sia, Michael Lucas Graham, all these people who could who contributed musically to the movie, made for a really, really just great soundtrack that I have already peppered Tumblr with at this point. I know, I know. I've been posting a few songs from the movie, and people are like, "Oh wait, you still watch that?" I'm like, "Bruh, I haven't been, but now I am." As far as the actual show is concerned, stepping away from the movie, if you haven't seen the movie, definitely go see it. Don't recommend going to see it in theaters, because you gain nothing from seeing it in theaters. It's really not a huge screen kind of film. When it comes out
Would you say like if you had a choice between Blade Runner 2049 or the My Little Pony movie, you'd say go with Blade Runner?
I'd probably go with Blade Runner. Yeah, there are other things that are more worth your money that are in theaters right now. But I would say once the film hits like physical release or the iTunes release, I would recommend picking it up. It is definitely worth the money there. And just they've posted quite a few clips of the film on YouTube, and just check out the animation. It's all really, really good. Very, very high quality animation. Stepping away from that, going into the show, I don't have a whole lot to say. The show is the same as it always was. I mean, nothing has changed. It's just the 7th season of the same thing. There's definitely been a lot of growth as the show has gone on. Twilight got her wings and it's a princess now and all that shit. One thing I really like what they've done about the show is a lot of side characters have now become main characters. You had an arc towards the end of one of the seasons where they meet a character named Starlight Glimmer, who is evil, and then they convert her, and she becomes Twilight's student. She's now a main character and plays a huge role in the show. And her best friend is the old joke character from the first season, the great and powerful Trixie. They're now best friends, and so now by extension, Trixie's in like most of the episodes as a main side character. The end of season 6 saw the two of them actually saving Equestria because, you know how they always do that thing where Celestia and Luna are like, oh, we're super powerful, and then they get trapped in the fucking Shadow Realm, right at the beginning of a season finale, and then Twilight has to save everything. At the end of season 6. All of them get banished to the ether, and it's just Starlight Glimmer and the great and powerful Trixie who are just like, oh shit, I guess we gotta save the world this time.
Oh,
and that
fuck.
and that was pretty funny. I had to say that was honestly, I like to see that, elevating side characters to main characters is always something I really like. And that's no different now.
We gotta work now.
Yeah, I guess we gotta do work now. Season 8 is in fact confirmed, which I'm surprised about. But hey, I guess if they keep making money, they'll keep making cartoons. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, I mean that's worked for The Simpsons.
Yeah, except that The Simpsons doesn't make money anymore. It's just made because they've signed a soul blood pact with the devil himself. They can't get out of that one. It's beyond making money at this point. Nobody watches that show. I'm hoping it doesn't get to that point, because The Simpsons has been going on for 24, 29, I don't know, over 20 seasons.
When was 1990? That was like...
Well, it was 27 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you include the Tracy Ullman shows, it's then it's like 30 years.
But yeah, it has not gotten to that point with MOP yet. It's still definitely fun and interesting, and they haven't had to recycle, too much. So it's definitely still worth watching if you like cartoons and shit that are meant for little girls.
I know lots of people who like shows for little girls.
Yeah, at least one.
Yeah.
This guy. What's that? All I watch is magical girl anime. Yeah, it's true. People on Tumblr are like, I get these asked all the time. It's like, is all you watch magical girl shows? And I'm like, yeah. And that's the end of that's the end of the discussion. They're like, oh, okay, never mind then. I'm like, yes, that is correct. That is 90% of what I watch. Is there a problem? I'm gonna pepper this entire Tumblr with nothing but Sailor Moon. Fuck you. Anyways, that's the media that I've caught up on recently. I highly recommend both Persona 5 and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic if you haven't gotten into either of those already, or if you have gotten into them but forgotten and stopped playing and are watching them. They're good, and you should continue.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm going to be at Nightmare Nights. I should probably catch up on the 2.5 seasons I haven't watched. I should probably have something topical to talk about. Otherwise, I'm just going to go there and be like, yeah, I don't watch the show anymore. I don't know why I'm here. Okay. All right. What was my other thing Cuphead. Cuphead's been making the rounds lately, and I picked it up. I picked it up after launch. I didn't, though. I actually did have a crowd. No, it didn't have a crowdfunding. They literally because they didn't talk much about the development cycle beforehand. They really got into it afterwards. But it's like, yeah, they fucking it was two brothers made it, and they were talking about they remortgaged their homes. Like one dude moved in, they just sold a bunch of shit and tapped in the savings, and it was just it's one of those classic indie projects where they just sort of sacrificed everything to make the game they wanted to make, which is cool, and which is the story's cool, but what's also cool is that we got a really fucking awesome game with it. And there's many things about this game that are just really just fucking awesome to me. Namely, the big thing is, well, gameplay wise, it is a very good, well made side scrolling running gun. It's not Dark Souls. It's more. And some people have been comparing it to Mega Man. It's not Mega Man. It's more Gunstar Heroes and Metal Slug. That's the comparisons I've seen that I think are correct. It is very, very much rooted in the 16-bit era style of run and gun platforming shooters. And of course, it's mostly a boss rush. There are levels you can play through, interjected, where you can earn coins to where you can go and buy power-ups that you can use to help you fight the bosses. But yeah, it feels good. Feels fucking awesome to play. I never felt like there was a cheap death. And I've died. I'll tell you, last I checked, I had died about 425 times. Which, for as far as I've gone, seems to imply that I'm doing pretty good. So that should tell you something about the difficulty of the game.
Game's pretty hard. If you finish the first fight, yeah, I'd say you've done a solid.
Yeah, it is very difficult. But none of the deaths feel cheap. There isn't there isn't any noticeable frame skipping bullshit. It's always been I moved here and didn't notice the bullet that was coming right towards me and I died, or something like that. No, it's very fair. Well, it's very harsh but fair. And what else? And the big thing is the art style. The art style
and the music, dude.
The music is great. The music is spectacular. King Cube's theme, or King Dice. Sorry, not King Cube. King Dice. His theme. When you go between worlds, the whole thing, the whole skit he does about his whole song. It's fucking great. The bosses are just really ingenious. They've really harkened back to just the wackiness of the cartoons that, you know, of that age. Just the influence. It's just they're just completely off the fucking wall, and you know, and they're very, very just very original. The thing about that style is that you look at you look at the bosses, you look at Cuphead, and you look at the bosses, and you're like, you feel like this should be like a licensed game for an actual cartoon series.
Like for a cartoon series, like old Disney style.
Called Cuphead. Yeah, like you feel like there was a cartoon called Cuphead and that all of these characters are from it, because it just that's how much it emulates, not even emulates, how much it is in that style, is that you feel like this is a licensed game of an old cartoon series. It's so well made. And then you find out every single all the backgrounds are watercolored, just like how they were back in the 20s and 30s and the 40s. I think mostly the 30s and 40s. You know, all the backgrounds are watercolored. And all of the characters are hand animated. They drew, and they did it the old way. They used pen and paper and cell sheets, and yeah, and that's a lot of fucking work. That's, you know, it's no wonder this game took like 7 or 8 years to make. It's because they hand animated everything traditionally, which is fucking just amazing. And the fact that they did all of that hand animated, and everything is so fucking smooth. Like there's no jerkiness to the characters because you're controlling them yourself. It all feels fluid. It all feels like they're supposed to move that way. When the bosses transition from one form to the other, it's not all of a sudden. It's not like they jerk into the right frame. They smoothly transition into their new form or new style of fighting. It's so smooth, so well made, and on top of all that, this was all made in Unity. They used Unity.
Yeah, and like one of the engines that has like the worst rep for being shit. And it's like, guys, it's not the engine, it's how you use it.
Yeah, the reason Unity has such a bad rep is because anybody can use it. Anybody can pick it up and use it. And
it's like RPG Maker. Dude, anyone can make anything with it. There's just, and that means there's going to be a lot of shit, but there's also some games out there for RPG Maker that are fucking amazing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, did you know that City Skylines is made in Unity? Yeah. Kerbal Space Program's made in Unity. You know, all of these games are made, you know, so many games are made in Unity. So many games are made in Game Maker. And so many games are made in RPG Maker. It's like, look, yeah, when you have these easy to access tools means people can pump out a lot of shit, but you also get a lot of gold as well. And yeah, it's just such a good game. Such a fucking amazing game. I love it. My only gripes is that there's no online co-op. It's only local co-op, which that's not even really a negative, because this is kind of a game you kind of want to sit next to the person. You kind of want to be in the same room playing it together, and also just playing it in 2-player just cranks up the difficulty even more, because it just basically doubles the bosses double their output of just stuff they're gonna do, and it really just turns into a bullet hell. It goes from a run and gun to just a full fucking bullet hell, and it's insanity. So yeah, I'd say for me personally, I think I'm doing pretty good, with the 400 or whatever deaths I have, because most people have been getting over 900. I've been seeing a lot of people saying like, because there's these parts in the game where it's like this wishing well place, and there's this old man in the lake, and he you go up to him and he says a little poem and then tells you how many times he died. And it's like, yeah, I've seen a lot of people being like, yeah, they got like 800, 900, over 1,000 deaths. So yeah, it's it's a really fucking difficult game, and that's what and there's been a lot of talk, a lot of talk about, should there be like should games like this exist, or is this just a form of gamer elitism and stuff like that? And it's like, I'm not, if people use this game to lord it over other people in regards to skill, that's very shitty, and people shouldn't do that. But what I will say, the reason I love games like this that are so fucking brutal, that are both fair but fucking brutal, is that when you finally beat that boss, the satisfaction is just, that's why you do it. It's because it is because when you finally beat the boss, it feels so great. You feel so good. You feel relieved. And yeah, that's why I'm glad that games like this exist. That's why I'm glad that that there isn't a compromise in that realm.
Don't say it. Don't say Dark Souls. Oh fuck! I said it.
You said it. I was gonna say Metal. I said Metal. I was gonna say Metal Slug.
Okay.
I was gonna say Metal Slug because
I am now like at the point where I am actually just tired of hearing about Dark Souls. Guys, I already played it. Leave me alone. Stop talking about it.
Yeah, at least be original. Say Bloodborne or something. I mean, if you're gonna take the lazy way out.
Oh right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can't recommend it enough. And the reason I say I'm not done is because each boss has an easy mode and a regular mode, and then once you finish it, there's New Game Plus with Extreme mode or Hard mode. So, yeah, it's pretty fucking brutal. It's hell. It's masochism. It's sadomasochism. The New Game Plus on Cuphead. So, yeah, I think we're done talking about absolutely nothing.
All right. So if you guys are interested in any of that stuff we're talking about, definitely check them out. Both of us are having a grand old time participating and partaking in our shit.
Shit, we forgot an episode title.
That's okay. We'll think of it later. With that, we move on. With that, we move on to our cool shit segment. Of course, everything in the cool shit segment that's linked, you can find on our show notes, which are linked in the description box for the YouTube videos this episode is in. The cool shit segment is where we link two cool things unrelated to our main topic that we found during the week that we think other people should check out, give a listen to, give it a look to, give a playthrough to. I'll start us off as we usually do. My first piece of cool shit here is an ASMR video. I don't really link ASMR videos very much because I think that you can just fucking find one for your own goddamn self.
I love the ASMR videos. They're just so fucking weird.
This one is a treasure. This one is called The Shift, a post-apocalyptic short film that is also an ASMR video. And it's by the YouTube user accidentally graceful ASMR, who does a lot of various ASMR videos, sort of like this, But this one really, like, I think is the highlight of her channel. It is such a well put together video. By itself, it is a well scripted, well shot, and well edited post apocalyptic short film for a short film done by one person. It's not going to win her any, any Oscars or anything, but for a YouTube video, it's actually of a pretty good quality. And it's also like weirdly an ASMR video, and this video outlines everything that I love about people who make ASMR videos, and how we've gotten to a point now where it's like everyone has seen enough videos of people scratching cloth, on YouTube, that now we got to get fucking weird with it. And we got to come up with all these like other ways of doing the same fucking thing, that now this person is literally making scripted short films and like spending more than an hour like getting dressed up and putting makeup on to look the part in a scripted short film that is also an ASMR video on YouTube. And I just
it's a lot like Vines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this video is so impressive because it is actually a pretty good, well put together post-apocalyptic themed short film that I would recommend checking out. It is weird. It is a weird thing that has happened to the ASMR community on YouTube. And that's my first piece of cool shit this week.
All right. My first piece of cool thing shits. My piece of shit is a YouTube channel called Feature History, and it's do you want to learn about history? Say yes or no or whatever. Well, this is a good channel to go learn about history, spoken by somebody who has no fucking clue about history. This guy is not a historian, but he reads up about various things and then talks about them. Usually they're topics that are not very well known, or people know about them but don't like. You ask people about like, do you know about the French and Indian War, or the 7 Years War? And people will be like, oh, yeah, I've heard about that. Well, and then you ask them, well, what was it about? And people are like, okay, and bullshit, without Googling it, what was the 7 Years War? See,
I have no fucking idea.
Well, this guy will tell you, because he read up on it and he made a fucking video. And that's when he launched his Patreon, because he's like, well, if I had to fucking figure this shit out, then you better give me some fucking money. Because he was just like, yeah, it's really hard to talk about that war without sounding like a fucking spastic. He talks about a lot of topics that aren't usually like really featured in any kind of history class, at least here in the West. It's like, you're not gonna know a whole lot about the Russo-Japanese War, or the 7 Years War, or the Chinese Civil War, or the Peninsular War, or the Troubles, or Chechen Wars, or any of that shit. This guy talks. That's why I kind of like this guy, is because he talks about events that shaped our modern world but you don't know about, and he talks about it in kind of a funny way, which I do like and enjoy. So yeah, that's my first cool thing.
Okay, and my final piece of cool shit this week is the website McElroyShows.com. McElroyShows.com is just an aggregate website that you go to get links to all of the shows the McElroy brothers are involved in. And if you don't know who the McElroy brothers are, that's Griffin, Travis, and Justin McElroy, who have been doing all kinds of different things for a variety of networks. Most notably Polygon. If you guys have seen any of the shows on the Polygon website, Yes, and it's funny because their content's like the only good content in Polygon.
It's sort of like Yahtzee and The Escapist.
Yeah, exactly. Now that Jim Sterling's left The Escapist, yeah. But if you've seen things on Polygon like Carboys, Monster Factory, anything like that, those are the McElroy brothers. And before they were part of Polygon doing all that shit, they were doing podcasts. Their first podcast, I believe, was called My Brother, and Me, which now has a television show, which you can actually see for free online on VCV, I think, .com, VRV.com. You do have to make an account there, but you can actually see their entire television series online at VRV.com. I highly recommend it. It is fucking hilarious because it's just the three of them like running around their hometown of Huntington, West Virginia, and just doing. Okay, so let me just say this: the first episode of their television show, they get a question from someone who thinks that their roommate rather in their dorm room in college, they're freshmen in college, they have a roommate, and they think that their roommate's stuff is haunted. And they write into the show asking, how can I get my roommate to throw all the stuff away? And instead of answering the question, the brothers McElroy, decide to go to a nearby university and try and make a haunted dorm room. And they go to an antique shop to find like possibly haunted antiques. Justin goes to eBay to buy the most haunted doll he can find, which ends up being this hideous clown doll with hands made out of bone. They enlist the help of an actual team of ghost hunters. Like okay. You know, like those people that have like the ghost hunter, like they actually get like a team of real ghost hunters to like help them out to try and figure out if any of their stuff is haunted. And at one point they go to the mayor of Huntington and like set up cameras in his office to petition that he give them special permits to be ghoul hunters. It's like,
all right.
the whole fucking show is just this like the zany adventures of the brothers McElroy, receiving questions from the audience and then proceeding not to answer them and instead do a bunch of stupid shit in their hometown. It's very funny. Anyways, McElroyshows.com is a place where you can go to get links to all of their podcasts and shows, including My Brother, and Me, which is a very, very old, very good podcast. It's been around for 7 years at this point. Tons to catch up on. Very fun. And, of course, probably their most popular podcast, The Adventure Zone, which is a Dungeons and Dragons campaign recorded that they play through with their father, Clint McElroy, and is very fun. It's a very fun podcast. I highly recommend it. But McElroy Shows is where you can go to see all of the different shows they're involved in and get links directly to them. And that's my last piece of cool shit for this week.
Cool. All right, on to my second piece of cool thing. I'll say that sentence right one of these days. Have some porn. And that's it for the cool things. No, it's a guy named TechWorks, or a guy named Tech, and he draws a lot of art, and a lot of it's not safe for work, so enjoy. He draws a lot of Anka from Animal Crossing, which is great and all, but let me just say, Anka is a fucking bitch. I fucking hate her. Okay, yeah, you want to draw a porn of her, fine, that's cool. It's kind of hot, especially the way this guy draws it, it's kind of hot. But, like, in the game, Anka is just such a fucking cunt. Oh, God, I can't fucking stand her. She moved to my village, and within, a month, I kicked her out. Because, oh, God, she is such a piece of shit. I can't fucking stand her. Anyway, that's my cool thing. My second cool thing. So, Yeah, we're done.
All right, we're done. That brings us to our final segment.
Oh, I came up with a title.
Oh, you came up with a title? Oh, what is it?
Yeah.
Did you type in?
Have some porn.
That's the worst title we've come up with yet. And by worst title, I mean the title that we've come up with that has the least to do with what this entire episode was about.
Well, it's like, who gives a shit now? We can't get monetized anyway because of YouTube's fucking adpocalypse. So who cares?
All right, that brings us to our final segment here. It's the segment that I added the previous episode, one episode ago, and I'm having a lot of fun with this segment. And I think that it's really good. It's a good sort of thing to chew on at the end of the episode once the podcast is done. It lingers in your mind and it's something you can think about for the rest of the week. And of course, this is the Words of Wisdom segment. Here in the Words of Wisdom segment, I go and I find some kind of quote, post, question, philosophical discussion or something like that that I think that really is something we can all reflect on for the rest of the week. Some nice words of wisdom to live by or a good question to ruminate on. This week's Words of Wisdom comes from the philosophy Tumblr blog We Can't Even. Kant, of course, spelled K-A-N-T, Kant, as in the philosopher.
Kant.
And the quote here in question is an anonymous quote. It's submitted to the blog by another person, but there's no source on it, so I'm just going to say that it's anonymously written and refers to some stuff put out by George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, German philosopher. And it reads,
I know about
reads
him.
as follows. If you fap to a girl, you are gay. Because according to Hegel, man's first desire is the other's desire. And girls desire boys, so you would be desiring desire for boys, which is pretty gay if you ask me. While if you fap to a guy, you are desiring desire for girls.